Erica Lisowski sat in a deserted waiting area on sub-level 2B of the FBI's gleaming new headquarters in Washington, D.C. Before long, a dour woman at a built-in reception desk motioned to her, and Lisowski stood to approach. The woman pointed to a grid of numbered cubbyhole shelves installed in the wall.
Place all electronic devices on your person in any open box and note the number.
Lisowski realized she was about to enter a SCIF, a sensitive compartmented information facility. No electronics permitted, and that meant the place would be shielded against radio signals as well. Such facilities were common enough in D.C., but not in Lisowski's work as a NASA economist. It confirmed that whatever was about to be discussed was not meant to be seen or heard beyond these walls. That was telling. Lisowski powered down her phone and stowed it in one of the cubbyholes, taking a chit for the box number. She then followed the receptionist's pointed finger to a suited man standing next to a closed door. He held up a scanning wand. "Arms out at your sides, please." She did as instructed, and he waved the device across her body. Then he scanned and inspected her purse. Finished, he opened the door and said, "They are waiting inside for you." She entered, and the door closed immediately behind her. There was a modest-sized conference room with an American flag draped on a pole in the corner. In the center was a long table occupied on one side by a dozen solemn men and women in suits, and one or two in military uniform. They resembled a row of judges. None of them wore identification, and there were no name tags on the table in front of them. Two female agents stood to either side of Lisowski, and one pulled out the lone chair opposite the officials. It appeared she would be on her own, a situation to which she'd grown accustomed. Lisowski placed her purse on the floor and sat down. Directly across from her, a prim and pinched-faced man in a freshly pressed charcoal gray suit flipped through a thick file. He looked up and stared intensely into her eyes.
"Dr. Lisowski, do you know why you've been called here today?"
She spoke calmly.
"I do not." "This is a classified disciplinary hearing convened to assess whether your conduct warrants immediate termination from NASA."
She processed this news.
"I see. Then why are we at FBI headquarters and not at NASA?" "Because if this panel concludes termination is warranted, you will be arrested and charged with espionage under Title 18 of the Federal Criminal Code."
So that was the game plan. Intimidation. A poor choice, one that suggested desperation.
"What's extraordinary is that you thought your activities would not be discovered."
"What activities?" She scanned the faces of the other officials. Who among them was the real person in charge here? She suspected not the one talking to her. He continued,
"We have irrefutable evidence of your involvement in numerous breaches of NASA's Code of Ethical Conduct, not to mention federal law. You face not only dismissal from NASA and forfeiture of your pension, but also decades in federal prison. Do you understand the gravity of your situation?"
"I understand." Lisowski let a beat pass. "But then, if your plan was to arrest me, you would have. So why don't we cut the bullshit and get to the real discussion?" Her interlocutor was taken aback and took to rearranging his papers. One of the men in uniform chuckled slightly to himself. A woman on the panel spoke up.
"Okay, Erica, let's all cut the bullshit. 3 months ago, a small asteroid burned up above Europe, illuminating the night sky over millions of people. You may have seen videos of it on the Internet."
Lisowski said nothing.
"Well, it wasn't an asteroid, and it didn't burn up. It was an unidentified spacecraft inbound from beyond the moon at over 65,000 miles per hour, performing a controlled aerobraking maneuver. No easy feat." 2 days later, that same spacecraft came around again and circularized into low Earth orbit before issuing a Mayday call. Its crew said they were a lifeboat from the Luxembourg-flagged asteroid-mining ship Constantine. Have you ever heard of such a spacecraft, the Constantine?